Well, the countdown timer ran out and I wasn't actually ready. So, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my weekly Wednesday live. I was just typing a note to Janelle Vincent. And Janelle Vincent, I haven't seen you forever. How are you, my sweet friend? Sending you tons and tons of love and hope that you're doing well. You're popping over from my YouTube channel. I have missed you too, Janelle, super much. And it's lovely to see you. Does this thing move around? It does. Okay, so welcome everyone. And if you are relatively new here, I am Anne LaFollette and I come on live pretty much every Wednesday at noon Pacific time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern, to talk about art, creativity, and my passion, which is surface pattern design. And if you're new here, you are very, very welcome. And I always like to make sure that I make this time super valuable for you. And I thought that today, because of the blog post that I wrote yesterday about, how do we manage when things seem kind of crazy? I thought that what I would do is I would share a little bit of the behind the scenes of how I am working on something I've never done before. So you know that that we frequently grow the most when we do something that we are scared of doing, but we know we want to get what we want to learn from it, right? We want to have the experience, we want to learn from it. And one of the great things about running a creative business is that you're in charge, right? And I love being my own boss. You guys know my history, my origin story, where I worked in corporate forever, got laid off, and all of a sudden I had to figure out, what am I doing next? And I decided to completely reinvent myself and figure out how to build a business of my own. And I have a very successful business, and so I'm very curious if you would be interested in learning, how did I go about building this business, this creative business that's primarily online? And how am I preparing to share all of this knowledge with you over my 3-day virtual event in December? So tell me in the comments if you are interested in learning a little bit more about this, because I wanted to share, because I have an early bird ticket and the ticket price is $197. But right now you can save $100 to get your early bird ticket for only $97. But let me tell you more about this 3-day event and why I wanted to offer it. And I've never done it before, and so it's a great opportunity for you to join, to experience it, and then I'll be able to also share everything that I learned from actually doing it and doing it scared. So Mia, you have to tell me again the pronunciation, because you've already bought your ticket. I'm super excited that you've bought your ticket, and super excited to support you in the 3-day event. And then Pauline Riley is also joining me in the 3-day event. And I know that several of my existing students are going to be coming, but many of you who've never actually come into a big event with me and experienced kind of 3 days with me, you're going to love it. You're absolutely going to love it. So let me back up for a second and just talk a little bit about what I like to call the reason I'm doing this. So the reason that I'm doing this and why I'd love to know if you're curious to learn this from me, is I found myself without a job, and I needed to figure out what I was going to do next in my life. And I actually was able to then, within a year, create an online business that I absolutely love. I still run it today. It's awesome. It's very profitable, and it is built on a 6-part framework. So the first thing I'd like to know is, are you curious about it? Would you have any interest potentially in building a business online yourself? Would you like to know, based on the fact I've gone before you, that you could learn my framework? And if so, give me a yes in the comments so I can tell you a little bit more about it. Now, the thing that's important, I think, about embarking on any endeavor is that you actually do want to understand a set of steps. And I don't like to sort of try to figure things out on my own. One of the stories I love to share is my mom teaching me as a young person that if you want to learn how to do something that you don't know how to do, You need to go find people who have done it before and who've done it successfully and have a proven track record. And so you can do what's called to cut it check for speed, right? You pay someone to learn their methodology so that you can then apply it yourself, and you can make progress much, much faster than trying to figure it out on your own. And so I actually spent most of my first year doing that, doing my research, learning from a lot of the top online marketers in the world, and putting together my own framework for how I was going to be able to do this kind of my way. And in the surface pattern design world specifically, because that was the passion that I had, that I wanted to build a business around. So that is the 6-part framework is essentially what I'm going to be sharing with you in my 3-day virtual live event. So let me share my screen for just a second, and let me tell you more about it. So it's called the Creative Business Blueprint, and it's a 3-day virtual live event. And I'm going to help you understand my framework so that you can turn your passion into a profitable, thriving, creative business, even if you're starting from scratch, because I started from scratch. Literally, I started completely from scratch. And I wanted to make sure that you guys know there is an early bird ticket right now. You can save $100, and this expires, if you're multitasking, come back to me. This early bird ticket where you can save $100 expires on Friday. So if you're interested in coming to this live event and attending, it's going to be on Zoom, so it's going to be super convenient. You can participate from anywhere. Your early bird ticket opportunity expires by Friday, so listen up. So what's in this for you? What's in it for you, it's an easy and convenient way for you to participate from everywhere, including the comfort of your own home. You're going to gain visibility to my complete framework, right? So I'm going to share with you my exact 6-part framework that I use to create a successful business in my 60s. Right? I'm going to help you design a strategy that's aligned with your why. And what I mean by that is it's super important whenever you get started that you need to have a very, very good, you have to have a purpose. You have to sort of know, where are you right now? Where do you want to go? Why do you want to go there? And then what are the capabilities you're going to need to acquire in order to achieve success? And that's where the 6-part framework comes in. So let me go back to tell you a little bit more about it. So you also are going to, part of my framework is building an audience, right? Because if you don't have an audience who you can share your product, your services, your course, your membership, whatever it is that you've decided that you actually want to build your business around, you have to build an audience. And so I'm going to share my methodology for how to attract and grow your ideal audience. And then we're going to talk about launch methods, right? How do you actually, like a movie premiere, how do you use a lot of the techniques that they use in the movies to get you super excited about coming to the movie, and in this case, to come and purchase your programs. And then I'm also going to demystify the tech and the tools, because there are tools that you're going to need to use, and it's going to be super important for you to feel like you absolutely can do it. And I, again, did this all in my 60s. So if I can do it, you can do it too. So there's 6 essential steps, and here are the steps, and we're going to cover this in detail during the 3-day event, right? So we're going to talk about how to set the strategy and why you want to do this to begin with, because you have to have sort of a North Star, right? And then we're going to talk about your ideal customer, and I'm going to show you how I have identified mine, and also how I have built my email list. Then we're going to talk about the assets. What are the assets that you want to create? What are the offers that you want to have in your business? Then the 4th step is your launch methods, and your 5th step is the delivery of those assets. And then, of course, we need to dive into techs and tools tech and tools. So to grab your early bird ticket, all you need to do is go to members.artwithann.com/blueprint to save your $100. So here are people who have actually experienced my 6-part framework, and you can read their testimonials about how beneficial it has been for them. And let's talk a little bit about if this is right for you. So again, this is a 3-day event on December 12th, 13th, and 14th. And each day starts at 10 a.m. Pacific and it goes until 4 p.m. Pacific. So there'll be breaks, there'll be a lunch break, there'll be breaks. It's going to be very, very interactive. So if you're ready to start or scale your creative business, then this program is absolutely for you. If you are also super curious and you want to learn the exact steps that I took to build a successful online business after I got laid off from my fancy corporate job, this is absolutely the right program for you to join. And then also, if you feel a little uncertain about the tech and you're reassured that I was able to master it, but you want to see how and get visibility to how I was able to do that, then this is for you. And then also, if you're looking for a proven roadmap so that you're not wasting valuable time, you'll be able to follow it step by step by step, and that will then allow you to make progress a lot faster. It's a super interactive experience. I'm going to talk more about how it works, but basically, look here, this example right here is a bunch of us on a Zoom call. And one of the great things about the world today is that pretty much everybody uses Zoom. You know how to use Zoom, and Zoom is very interactive. So it's a 3-day, very structured journey to give you maximum impact. And the 3 days run from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific. And don't worry, there will be some breaks. You're going to get my complete creative business blueprint. We're going to fill this blueprint out together during the 3 days, and you'll have the ability to come on screen with me when you have some questions and when we do some breakouts, right? We're going to be able to do some breakouts, which is going to be really great. So you can read more testimonials about people who've done it before, but I wanted to make sure that since the early bird offer, the early bird price of $97, which saves you $100, it expires on Friday. And so I wanted to make sure that I was talking to you and answering any questions you have about this so that you don't lose the opportunity to come into this for only $97. So let's talk a little bit more about, I'll go to the frequently asked questions, but let's just talk a little bit about why this is going to be so much fun and why I don't want you to be intimidated that it is actually over a 6-hour time frame, right? It starts at 10 a.m., it goes until 4 p.m., that's Pacific time, and so if I did the math right, that's 6 hours each day. But remember, there'll be a nice lunch break, and there are segments. I'm going to break it into each one. Basically, I'm going to walk you through my framework, right? And so each day we're going to do a couple of the frameworks. We're going to dive deep into a couple of the steps that you need to understand. And I'm going to teach you, and then you're actually going to do some work, and then we're going to go into some breakout sessions so that you can share with others what your big ahas are for that particular teaching segment. And then I'm going to bring you on screen. I'm going to ask people to share what was their big aha, what, based on what you learned in this particular framework, what's your first next step that you want to take. It's going to be really fun, and the days are going to go by really fast, and so I want you to block off your calendar now, and I'd love for you to attend. It's going to be amazing, and I've never done it before. So what I started saying at the very beginning of today's session is, from time to time, we need to take a deep breath, and we have to have the courage to learn how to do something new. And this is something totally new for me, but I'm so excited about it because one of the things I have been discovering in this online world is we want to interact with each other, right? We don't want to just watch a whole series of videos on our own to learn something. We want to actually learn it live. We want to be able to ask questions live. We want to be able to then have discussions amongst ourselves so that we're seeing that we're in a community that's very much like us, other women who are absolutely excited about, and men who are interested in building a creative business online. And that interactivity creates a lot of excitement, and you also make a lot of progress during the 3 days. And so I'm excited about it. You know, it's towards the end of the year. This had been on my to-do list for 2024. And even though it's coming very late in the year, I had promised myself I was going to do one of these 3-day events. I was going to learn how to do a 3-day event. I was going to offer a 3-day event, and I would love for you to come and participate because it's going to be incredibly valuable. Another way for me to describe it is I'm pulling back the curtain on how I've built this business. And for those of you who've been around for a while and have been either watching me or you read my blog or you've taken some of my online classes, this is a new way for us to interact and a new way for me to peel back the onion or to peel, I'm mixing my metaphors, to draw back the curtain so that you can actually see how do you start from scratch. I didn't have an email list. I didn't have an audience. I didn't have any programs figured out yet, but I knew that I wanted to build a creative business based on surface pattern design that I love to do myself, like all day long. So that is the topic I picked, but you might have a different topic. You might love teaching watercolor. You might love teaching mental health. You might love teaching how to lose weight. You might love to teach Procreate, how to use Procreate on your iPad. It could be everything is creative, right? So it doesn't have to be a creative practice. It can be, but it can be beyond that. And so I'm incredibly excited about it. And I know that Pauline is putting the link into the chat, although it's like so incredibly, like you put the Facebook, Pauline, you put the Facebook link into the chat, which is fine, but because maybe you're sending people over to one of my Facebook groups, which is awesome, just totally awesome. And then and then you also put in the members.artwithann.com/blueprint. Thank you. So let me, it is going to be really fun. And so let me go back to the page that you will land on. So when let me go back up to the top of the page. So when you go to members.artwithann.com/blueprint, you land on a page that looks like this. And now it starts in 21 days, but remember the early bird, grabbing your early bird ticket where you can save $100, this expires on Friday. So we've talked about the key benefits and what's in it for you, because I'm going to pull back the curtain on my framework. Then those are the 6 essential steps. I covered these. So by the end of the 3 days, you'll have a crystal clear roadmap to transform your creative passion into a profitable, sustainable business that you love. And this is basically a peek at the framework, but we're going to go deep into each one of these topics during the 3 days. And you can read the testimonials from people who have come through this framework with me before and have absolutely loved it. And what have they done with it? How has it helped them move their business forward? And then this is a little bit more about who it's for. And then I wanted to make sure you understand it's going to be super interactive. And it's going to be on Zoom, which I'm sure you know how to use. I'm going to ask you to have your cameras on so that I can call upon you, or you can raise your hand if you have a question so we can interact with each other. And then you're going to fill out the Creative Business Blueprint over the course of, this is a downloadable and it's a fill-outable, right? So you can download it and you can also fill it in as we go through each one of the 6 steps together. So let's just go to, this is your early bird, right? It only costs $97 for the full 3 days. And the price is going to go up by $100 starting on Saturday. So grab your ticket in the next couple of days so that you can save $100. So frequently asked questions. What if I can't attend all 3 days? So it's important for you to block off your calendar to come to all 3 days, because I'm going to be going through my entire framework and it takes 3 days to go through it in the level of detail that I want to share with you. Will there be a recording? No, there will not be a recording, because I need you to come live. I need you to block off those 3 days from 10 a.m. Pacific to 4 p.m. Pacific each day. And if your work, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, And so I realize that many of you won't be able to do it because you're at work, unless you can take some time off in order to be able to attend. But there are no recordings. So that is very, very clearly stated also on your enrollment page. So I wanted to emphasize it as well. We talked a little bit about who the event is for. If you feel like you're not tech savvy, you absolutely will be able to keep up. So we're not going to use any technology during the 3 days. We're just going to be on Zoom. And so just so long as you know how to get on Zoom, and I'm going to give you a link to get on there, you're going to be totally, totally fine. And so to participate in the event, you just need a positive attitude and a willingness to learn, and also a willingness to to interact with other people during the event itself, because we're going to be interacting with each other in breakout groups as well as a total group together. And then what's included in the playbook is all of the steps, right? It's a downloadable playbook that we're going to go through together. It's going to include some exercises, some prompts, spaces for notes, but we're going to build your personalized plan during as we go through the 6 steps. And then if you have questions during the event, the great thing is it's super interactive. So you're going to be able to put your hand up, and you probably know how to put your hand up in a Zoom meeting, and then I'll be able to see that on screen, and I'll be able to bring you on so you can ask your question, and I'll be able to answer it. Right? So why am I offering this program? I'm offering this program because it has taken me 5 years to learn everything that I know, and I have now put it into a 6-part framework. And I want to share the framework with you. And it's going to be the most amazing way for me to be able to pull back the curtain and really share with you why am I standing here today? How have I been able to be standing here today talking to you on Facebook and on my YouTube channel, and over the course of the past 6 years since I've been doing this, I've been sharing a lot about my business, but I haven't ever pulled back the curtain to kind of say, well, what were the building blocks? What were the steps I followed? What was the framework? And how did I manage overwhelm? And the fact that, yes, there are a lot of steps, but you know what? We're going to take them one at a time. And you don't have to worry about step 10, because when you get to step 9, you'll be ready for step 10. And in this particular framework, there are only 6 steps. So I'm really excited to be able to dive deep into them over the course of the 3 days. And so for things that come up for people because people have been reaching out to ask questions about the event, is there are a couple of big limiting beliefs. So the first limiting belief is that it's wow, this sounds really interesting, but I don't know if I can do it. I'm too old. I'm not tech savvy enough. I don't have an idea yet. I just don't know. I think maybe this is just not right for me. And the thing is that for just $97, if you grab the early bird ticket, you can find out more about what it might look like for you. And so you don't have to make a decision as to whether it's right or wrong for you until you're more informed. So that's what my mom always told me. She said, well, go find out about it, right? It's a pretty low barrier to entry, $97 if you grab the early bird ticket, to just come learn more about what is involved in running an online business. And you'll be so much more informed. You'll then be able to decide, okay, is this right for me? Or do I want to continue, and do I want to go even deeper or not? But you'll have the information upon which to make a decision. Whereas today, you probably have a whole bunch of questions about how would this really work for me? And I can tell you that I wasn't too old, right? I got laid off in my late 50s. And I could have said, okay, well, I'm too old to learn something totally new. And literally, this was totally new. In my corporate job, I barely used a computer. And I've always been the person who, back in the day, if my phone broke, I'd give it to my husband. And so it's so empowering that I've been able to learn how to use the tech and the tools and get comfortable on camera talking to you like this, learn how to do Zoom so that we can have an interactive, very engaging 3-day event together, experience together. It's going to be super immersive. But that's the first limiting belief. It's wow, that sounds really interesting, but could I do it? Do you think I could do it? And this is the best way for you to learn if you could. The second limiting belief really is all about, well, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this, I don't have that. And of course, I didn't have any of those things either. I didn't have an email list. I didn't have an audience. I didn't have really much other than just an initial idea. I didn't know how I was going to actually launch my programs. I didn't know the different mechanisms that are proven formulas essentially for launching your programs. And so I was essentially sitting where you might be sitting right now and thinking that, well, I need this first, or I need this first, or I need this first. And it's like, you don't need any of it when you're first starting out. You actually need the framework. You need to understand, okay, what am I going to need, and who's going to be the best person to guide me? And I'm hoping that that's me, because I did this late in life, right? I'm now 66. I'm about to be 67. And I can't tell you how incredibly empowering it is to be able to have my own business. And I want to share with you how I did it. So I don't want to take any more of your time. And so Linda, I haven't covered these topics in the atelier. So Linda Deming is in my membership program, and so this is a totally new experience. This 3-day live event, and so I would be. I would love for you to join us. I would love for you to join us, because this is my 6-part framework for how I built my entire business. And Suze, you're welcome to join. I realize that you're in Denmark and you speak Danish, and so it might be challenging for you to kind of be able to absorb the information that we're covering. It's completely up to you. I know that I will have students, the international students, but listen, you all speak amazing English. I don't speak any Danish, but it's totally up to you if you want to join us. And listen, it's a really low entry point, right? If you get the early bird ticket for just $97, it's going to be so valuable, right? It's going to be so incredibly valuable. So let me go backwards just to see if anybody else has any questions for me. And Shelly is here. Hello, Shelly. It's great to see you. And Janelle, I'm sure you've been very busy in your quilting world. I love the quilt that you made for me. I still absolutely love it. It's at the bottom of our bed, and it's now raining here. It's probably raining in Sacramento too, I imagine. And so it's perfect for this time of year. I really love it. And so if you guys don't have any other questions, I will let you go. I like to stay on for just about a half an hour, and I've done a pretty good job. It's 12:33, and so think about it. Remember that early bird ticket expires on Friday, at the end of the day Friday. So if you want to save $100, jump in now, and you want to go to members.artwithann.com/blueprint. And so if I go back to this page for one more minute, this is where you will land. This is where you will land. And what's super important is to know that it is December 12 to 14, and it runs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. So let me just come back on screen for a second, and I think that I wanted to have this other slide that will show you this is sort of the cover of this 3-day live event. And so I just wanted to make sure that you guys know it is called the Creative Business Blueprint, and it's a 3-day live event. And it's December 12 to 14, and it runs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time every day, each one of those 3 days. And of course, there will be breaks. There'll be a lunch break, and there'll also be breakouts as well as breaks. So it's going to go really fast, and it's going to be very interactive. So I think one of the best parts about it is not only are you getting an inside perspective and the juicy details behind my 6 essential steps to growing a successful creative business, even if you're starting from scratch, which is what I did, but it's also going to be super interactive. I showed you these images here where you can see we're going to be on Zoom together. Everybody's camera is going to be on. I'm going to be able to call on you so that we can actually be live like this if you've got a question or we want to dive deeper into a particular topic. And it's very structured, so each session builds on the session before it. So you want to block your calendar to be there all 3 days. And then you're also going to get this creative business blueprint playbook to fill out as we go through the 3 days together. Super, super interactive. I cannot wait. And this is something that I have never offered before. So it's your opportunity to come and see my 6-part framework and for me to show you behind the curtain of what it's like to build a successful online business from scratch. From scratch. So thank you so much for joining me. You know, I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette, and it's never too late to create. So I will see you in the 3-day live event. It's called the Creative Business Blueprint, and now you have the information that you need to decide if you want to join us. Don't forget, you can save $100 by signing up on the early bird ticket, which is only $97, and that expires on Friday night. All right, grab your ticket now, and I will see you there. Bye for now.